Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I hear you, Indy. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today I'm drawing a skull and snake tattoo design, coloring book page outline. Probably one of the most popular tattoo designs as any you can imagine. Great design. So just to start with just a quick video on how the simplest way possible to draw a head. Draw a circle, cut it in half, and then draw a line through the circle, and then extend that line half that distance of that, the halfway point of your circle, and then draw down on each side for the chin. And there you have it. That's a head. And then put the eyes halfway down, and there you have the basic proportions of a head in the most basic sense possible. So that's always in the back of my mind when I draw skulls. As you draw skulls at different angles and different perspectives, of course that changes. It's not always halfway down, but it's always good to keep this, figure in the back of your head anyway, because a lot of the skulls you will draw will be halfway down when you're sketching. And on another note, I just wanted to show you, introduce you to, you may have seen his work already, an artist I like from the popular in the later 1800s was the Mexican artist Jose Guadalupe Posada Aguilar. He was a Mexican political lithographer. Used relief printing to make he was really focused on skulls and calaveras. And he's a good example of how a guy that draws really well, that is drawing skulls that don't look anatomically correct, that he's kind of a cartoonist, so it kind of relates to these drawings because he's kind of taking liberties with the anatomy of the shape. And back to this guy, if you look at him, his mandible is connected in one solid piece to the rest of his skull. Just a collection of hot babes there once again. So when I draw this guy, I basically draw the skull, leave one eye socket open, and it's going to be that one on the outside edge, and then just wrap the snake around is the easiest way to do it. It's quite a simple design. The trickier part of it will be the snake. If you've seen any of my skull videos, you kind of getting an idea how I draw my skulls in this simple method. And if you notice around his cheekbones, I've added an extra line of cheekbone, which is completely just for kicks. Once again, it's not anatomical, and I encourage you to take liberties with your drawings to try and make something. I'm taking a not very original idea, which is the skull and snake, and trying to add just a little bit of originality to it. And as you learn, you want to stay as flexible in your thinking as you can. There are pretty much two schools of thought when it comes to learning how to draw, I'd say, or artwork in general. The more modern or contemporary method focuses more on being creative. It's more right-brained. It's more about experimentation and self-evaluation, not as focused on techniques. When I went to art school, that's kind of what they were teaching at the time. I was a little disappointed because I really wanted to learn more techniques about drawing and painting and sculpture. Yet I didn't really feel I was getting it. I still learned a lot in hindsight, but I was wanting more of a traditional method at the time, which is step by step, follow along, technical, do what I do, basically teaching through mimicking. But in hindsight, I realize I have become more of the first method, I do believe in more freedom of expression when learning how to draw. I think that if you're drawing from a particular method over and over, all your drawings, you can become locked into a method, and you maybe lack the creativity you might have if you're drawing more expressively. Because, I now believe that, there are no rules when you draw. I've seen really interesting artwork from artists that are breaking all kinds of portrait rules. It doesn't look like a realistic portrait, but they're, maybe they have realistic eyes and then some crazy rest of the face that just makes something totally original. So I encourage you to keep in the back of your mind when you're drawing that you can draw anything you want, any way you like, and it can be totally unique. And that's okay, And as you draw, you don't need to subscribe to either method. So, like I was saying before, the skulls go right back to a very popular tattoo image, and they go right back through time to all kinds of secret societies and groups. The skull with snake is very popular symbology, meaning, from what I could gather, death and decay, or because snakes are also a symbol of fertility, a death and rebirth type of thing, but definitely a cycle of life and death thing. And check out these Asian carvings, that one in bone and this one in wood, by some master carvers of skulls and with a snake. It's just awesome. It's so intricate. I don't even know how you'd start something like that. Anyway, back to what I was saying before. As you learn to draw on your path as an artist, I think that if you feel you're in a place where you want to learn a lot of techniques, then go for it. Start learning techniques. If you feel you're not really as motivated by learning techniques, then be more expressive in your drawing and work on original things. But I think for me, it's been a combination of both those things that have made me a better artist. I remember when I was, I took a sculpture class in art school, and I put probably, must have been 50 hours into this metal fish. It was very, very well made, but it really just looked like a fish made with metal. Like, I made individual scales of metal. Like, it took a long time, but my sculpture teacher was a modernist, and I remember at the time he didn't like my fish at all. People in the class liked my fish because they saw all the effort and skill that went into it, but he didn't care for it at all. He was through the moon for a girl that had her sculpture was it was a lemon and she had taken like maybe a third or a half of an orange peel, I forget exactly, and sewn it on top of the lemon. So it was an orange peel on top of a lemon, and she sewed that on. Probably took her 15 minutes. And he was just gaga over that and had talked about all the symbolism and meaning, which I thought was a lot of hoo-ha at the time. But I kind of get the modern thing now a little more. But believe me, for my next assignment, I did not spend 50 hours making a metal fish. I repurposed something and then wrote a big essay about it, and I think my mark was pretty good for that, and I did not spend too long on it. My point is that you can take from both methods, like a modern approach, and with all the techniques you want to learn. Here's just a snake girl I found online. That's not creepy at all. Probably just a collection of internet hoaxes. This one definitely looks CGI. Yeah, kind of wild though. And here's a hot snake girl, I guess maybe at the Academy Awards type thing. And I thought it was real at first, but then it's a hoax, because if you look when she grabs the snake, it's just hanging floppy. If it were a real snake, it would probably be all recoily and stuff, And here's just a quick collection of snakes and babies, which I didn't know was a thing until I realized it was a thing. But these must be, I assume these are 3+ snakes that are really good with toddlers. Oh, and babies. Maybe they just wrap around and give them a nice warm blanket at night, and that's very pleasant. A little girl with her giant pet albino python, I guess. Yeah, that's not freak at all. And here's another one with a little guy or girl with a multitude of snakes wrapped around. Makes for a nice night's sleep, I guess. No, I like drawing snakes, but I don't want anything to do with them. They actually carry a lot of diseases just on their skin. A lot of people get salmonella every year. I read that handling a snake is equivalent to handling an old sitting dirty diaper, because they carry that much bacteria and whatnot on them. Just another reason for me to like drawing snakes but keep away from them. Take care.